This is actually really interesting because I've never seen like on my YouTube feed anything about this game, but I heard a lot of good positive feedbacks about the Limbus company. When I came across this video, I played the best gacha game ever made, and you should try too. So I'm really interested if this game is that good and like what is so special about it.
Players perceiving it as a ripoff of a popular game, gooner bait, low quality slop, or most notably, a predatory way to drain money away from consumers. So what makes a good gacha?
The words good and gacha game go together like fanboys and food shops. They just
game then. How about one that actively hates money?
You can have it. Say thanks! No!
Oh,
This
really?
is Limbus Company, a turn-based RPG with more RNG.
Wait a minute, I heard the more RNG, but I wanted to pause this. This actually looks really interesting. Like, oh my god, I can kinda, like, just based on the very first impression, I can kinda understand why maybe it's not as popular. Which also I can kinda understand why this game is probably really good, because it's gonna be very profound. Like, I don't know what the hell is this, like, on the bottom, but seems to be like a turn-based, like, really complex kind of mechanics, which I believe is gonna be like fun to try.
RPG with more RNG built into the gameplay than its own gacha system that also happens to have one of the best stories I've ever seen in any media period. There is little to no marketing for this game aside from Roblox and YouTube videos calling this the best gacha you've never heard about, and this is no exception to that. This is one of the few pieces of media that I've consumed in my life that has actually gotten me close to crying, and it's because of this game's beautifully crafted stories, well-developed characters, and its interesting gameplay. But today, I hope to tell you all about this wonderful game that has taken up over 200 hours of my life this year, and to explain why I believe this is one of, if not the best gacha games that you can play right now.
That's a bold statement. Okay, I'm already hyped, so show it to me. Also, like, hearing like everyone saying that this is one of the like best story like ever written when it comes to gacha, I'm a little bit you know, conservative or a little bit like suspicious when it comes to these like statements, because like I was so shilled to my brain that the Genshin is literally the best story ever written. And I'm sorry, I hate to tell you, it wasn't as good to my taste. Maybe I would like it way more if it's gonna have a little bit faster pace, but like, yeah, I guess too slow for me. I can immediately tell there's gonna be something like right after this statement. Ooh. I mean, the art is actually also really interesting on its own. Canto 1, the story.
Limbus Company begins with a clock person getting attacked by the lion, only for said lion to then get hit by a wild bus. Ever since the fire trucks came out, this type of violence has been much more common. This clock person is Dante, the main protagonist of the game, who is currently having amnesia, and you know that makes sense because their head got surgically replaced with a clock. I am just going to say this right now. Dante is the best protagonist out of any gacha game, period, and by far the drippiest. Now, I am not the biggest fan of amnesia tropes and narratives. It is way overdone in my opinion, especially for gachas. However, this is one of the few exceptions that not only does it well, but fucking excels at it. And I'll be honest, I don't like too many gacha MCs, so when I'm given the role of some epic character who's done a lot of things in the past, but they have amnesia now, or someone that is universally loved and is amazing at everything, my thoughts are just...
Okay.
Which is why Dante is so refreshing, because this feels like a real character. Dante has the foundation of a generic self-insert MC, but the amnesia works here because this is the third game in a trilogy. So if Limbus is your first game, then you're in the same shoes as Dante. And if it's not your first game in the Project Moon world, it still works because Limbus goes beyond the first two games. But what puts Dante into the...
I actually wonder, like, speaking about these two previous games, did they like see such a similar success, or was it like a slop?
The stratosphere is that their character is not defined by their amnesia. Yes, they lost their memories, but Dante has goals. They talk a lot. They make mistakes, and they learn just as we do. They feel like a real person. And it is so nice to play a gacha game where everyone around you doesn't do tricks on it. Oh my god.
I gotta say this, dude. The Gacha Swag has literally the best laugh possible. You can just hear the laugh, and no matter what is gonna be like the context, like I'm gonna laugh with him.
You don't
It's
have
so
a harem in this
funny.
game. These people are not your friends to start out with, and you do not have a singular traveling companion to tell you everything. You have 12 employees that just see you as a boss. You get one meat writer, one, and she only acts like this once she finds out you're the boss. If your title was literally anything different, she would not give a fuck about you. The cast of Limbus Company is such a breath of fresh air. These characters are all unique and have their own personalities and identities.
Wait a minute, what did I just read? Is this real? Is this line like really, really? No, that cannot be real. But like, the screenshot of this text kind of looks like same vibes with the. No, that cannot be
These are
real.
all unique and have their own personalities and identities. Project Moon fans are loving that joke right now. These are the 12 sinners, and they are what make Limbus Company Limbus Company. But we'll talk more about them in a minute because right now they are here to fight for us.
Okay.
But just because they'll fight for us, that doesn't mean they'll win. Yes, as we are on the brink of death, our 12 heroes jumped out of the bus just so they could also get their asses kicked. However, what makes this cast of characters special is that they are linked to us. Dante is the ultimate empath. We can wind our clock back and feel that pain too. How far does this pain go, you might be wondering? Well, it extends to death. Now, one would think that upon seeing a power like this, most people would be more considerate and more careful around their surroundings, so as to not hurt the one person capable of defying nature. Well, this is how our cast reacts.
Well, these claws ain't for just attracting mates. Bring it on, old man! Bring it on!
Wait, wait! I know tensions are high.
Oh my god, this editing is so good.
These creatures represent all different sides of the autism spectrum and are based on important figures surrounding literature. We've got Yi-Sang, a depressed nerd who likes to spam.
Oh, okay, so it's based on Lee Sang, the Korean poet. Also, like, seeing the character of most of them, they look actually low-key depressed, which is also like a really interesting
His vocal
style.
stem.
Does anyone know someone who can help us? Anybody. Anybody at all.
I know someone who can help.
If you say
이상
you're fired.
이상적이지 않소.
Get out!
Faust, a being who appears to be
Wait a minute, is this Korean game? Like, hearing the Korean, oh my god. I have a little bit weakness when it comes to Korean games because they usually having a little bit like grindy style. At least like most of the games that I've tried, like even besides the gacha space. So low-key Korean based game having a little bit you know, unique spot in my heart.
nearly omniscient and acts like Grok for most of the journey. Don Quixote, arguably the poster child of Limbus Company, and is currently hyperfixated with tales of
strongest
heroism
yet,
and
but-
will not shut the fuck up about it. Ryoshu, a violent, insane
she looks
psychopath
badass.
who speaks primarily with acronyms.
Shut your bitch ass up!
Marceau, the unintentionally fun
So basically, like, is every character based on something like real? That's actually really interesting. I guess like that's what makes the characters like really unique and like make the people to be more attached to these characters. Like, does nothing unless told otherwise. So many people gonna resemble to it.
funniest character in this game. Bro straight up punches a woman to avoid a citywide conflict. Honglu, the most beautiful man with homophobia
Okay.
you've ever seen, and is also equipped with a nice smile. That's all there is to him. Heathcliff,
That's a
the
guy?
most stable British person you'll ever meet in your life. Ishmael, probably the most rational and normal person aside from all of the trauma. Rodian, a charismatic, charming woman who instead of spending her time on the basketball
She looks like that kind of ex that if you're gonna fucked up really hard, you might not gonna survive morning.
courts, chooses to indulge in a bit of gambling. Sinclair, someone that can easily be interpreted as a little bitch until you step back and realize, no, wait, everyone around him is actually just insane. Otis, a war veteran who is a D1 meat writer for Authority. And finally, we have Gregor, potential man himself, who is a war veteran that hasn't fully recovered from their past, but overall, they're a pretty chill guy. That covers the playable cast, but we're also joined on the bus by its driver, Charon, and our guide, Virgilius. Charon is the cute little mascot driver that operates the
Vroom,
man-eating
vroom.
bus, and Virgilius is our tour guide who is about as useful as a knitted condom. Virgil is here to aura farm, call us an
Ooh,
idiot, and tell us
okay.
what to do. This is just a very brief description of what these characters are like at a first glance, but trust me,
Damn, like seeing them, maybe I changed my taste for the gacha games like after the Arknights storylines, but even just like characters overall, and hearing like what they basically like offer when it comes to like their personalities seems to be like already like really fun, you know, experience to kind of have.
There is so much more than what I've let on about. We are in charge of this group of chuckle fucks, and our journey is about going through the different districts of the city so we can obtain the golden bows. Now, what is a golden bow, you might ask? Well, they are branches. That's what we call stems growing from the trunk of a tree. These ones happen to have a golden glow to them. You think I'm being a smartass by saying this when all I'm doing is quoting Virgilius?
What is
I
this
told you
good
these
for?
people do not fuck with you like that. Hope you don't mind if a white boy speaks a little Italian, but this game's story is divided into cantos. Each canto has two narrative purposes. The first being to find and obtain the golden bows, since the higher-ups at Limbus Company want them for some undisclosed reason. The other purpose being to develop the sinners and learn about their stories. This right here. This is what makes the game so incredible. These characters are more than just an excuse to grab monies from consumers, and this is what separates Limbus Company from other gachas. When gachas design characters, it can very clearly feel like they made certain units with only one goal in mind. But in Limbus Company, you are stuck with these 12 characters for the entire journey. All 12 of them are with you, and each of them have their own stories to go through independent of just finding a cool stick.
When I'm hearing this, usually when there is a new character banner, you know, incoming, there's always like some story around it, and I don't know, like there are certain games that when I played these characters, it kind of felt a little bit like unnecessary, you know what I mean? Like some of these stories that I play when it comes to these characters that I'm not gonna mention, so I'm gonna avoid a little bit hate. I kind of feel like most of these characters has been, or the story has been just created to like sell the banner, you know what I mean? So if this case is actually like really deeply written like into the Limbus Company roots, that would be actually really nice.
These stories are
Nice
dark.
touch.
They talk about some pretty mature themes. War trauma, overcoming your past, nihilism, coming to terms with reality, and so much more. There is a reason why this game is rated M. Just look at what shows up on the loading screen. This looks like a Twitter user's D&I list. These characters have seen some shit, and learning about them and what makes them who they are is one of the biggest appeals to this game. These don't feel like characters designed for a video game to make money. These feel like characters written for a story. Yes, they are using the visual novel format to convey the narrative, so you get situations where the writing is
This is actually something I'm kind of quite a bit curious, because I feel such a shame that Arcanite doesn't have like voice lines, you know, like when I'm reading the story sometimes. It's not that I don't like to read, I actually having the library here, but sometimes I would love to hear voice lines from the characters so they, you know, introduce the story to me instead of reading. If that's gonna be the case, I might actually gonna try it. Also, if they're gonna have a Korean voice line, I probably gonna try it so I can practice my Korean even
the
more.
visual novel format to convey the narrative, so you get situations where the writing is really intense and emotional,
could you?
but the character sprite just looks like this. The writing and dialogue in this game doesn't treat you like a child. They trust that you can read, and they don't waste your time with bloated, incessant talking. Nearly
Thank you. I was talking about this game earlier, but this guy literally involved it in the Limbus Company video. That already means something. Thank you very much.
every bit of dialogue has a purpose in this game, to either strengthen character interactions or the world. And they've got some straight heat in this game.
물러나라 자로. 더 혹독한 겨울을 주자.
Oh, okay.
아우의 품을 짐작할 길이 없겠구나.
Learning this game's world and characters is one of the best recent gaming experiences I've had, and it's one that I dare not spoil here because I do not want to take this away from anyone. This game is anything but predictable when it's come to its stories. These sinners don't always get their character arcs resolved.
Actually, that's kind of interesting because I've seen bunch of shows, like Korean shows, and sometimes these like plot twists and the tweaks in the story is low-key, sometimes very unpredictable. Not gonna lie, I actually dropped a few shows because like I couldn't handle how the story is like keep flipping. If that's still gonna be the case, I might actually lose my freaking mind here.
At the end of Kantos, the team doesn't always get the golden bow, and there isn't always a happy
It's
ending
gone.
where everyone sings Kumbaya and has a dance party. No, there is no formula for the story aside from depression. But that's what makes those happy moments in the story mean so much
I guess
more. If
maybe
we get a
that's also
golden
why
bow
it's
on
so
Kanto X,
appealing.
but not on Kanto YZ, then that one on Kanto X means more. And I know I said that I wouldn't spoil this story, then proceeded to reveal that we don't always get the golden bows, but I think that most Limbus fans would agree that this revelation is not what you are going to remember the story for. Kanto 1 is not about whether or not we get the golden bow. It's about Gregor and the trauma he went through and his failures. Kanto 5 is about getting direction in life. Kanto 7 is about escapism and the harms that it can bring. Yes, the golden bows are important, but that's not what these Kantos are about. You are playing them for the characters, and these characters actively
this video is
change,
so good.
learn, and grow throughout the story.
I actually don't know if I want to play the game because of the game itself or because like how funny this video is.
Yisang is not the same person after Kanto 4. Prior to Kanto 4, I didn't give a fuck about this guy if I'm being honest. He was just some dude that would pop up every now and then spam his voice line. But after Kanto 4, he might be the GOAT.
Like him and don't like him, is nothing you could do about him because he's number one. Whether you like him or don't like him, there's nothing you can do about him because he's number one.
There is so much more I could tell you about the narrative of this game, but I cannot in good conscience do that because
I'm actually curious, like seeing all these characters all over the place and like over and over and over, are we having more characters coming to the banner, or is this game like solely related to these 13 characters?
I do not want to spoil this for you. The only thing I will say is that if you are considering giving this game a shot, I would recommend finishing up to Kanto 3. Kanto 1 is probably the best introductory story I've seen in a gacha, but it does have some problems. Kanto 2 is widely regarded as the weakest one in the game, but it's still like a 6 out of 10, I would say. And Kanto 3 is where they really get their feet planted with how they format their stories.
Is the worst?
These 3 Kantos are the best way to view if you'll be hooked by Limbus Company, because they set the foundation. Kanto 1 has dark themes and graphic imagery, while Kanto 2 is more lighthearted and has plenty of character interactions between most members of the cast. Kanto 3 is a perfect blend of these two in my opinion, which is why I think completing the first 3 stories is the perfect benchmark for whether you should play this game or not. When it comes to stories in gacha games, there is a very clear difference between this is good and this is good for a gacha game, and Limbus has a great story. Now that we've briefly talked about the story and the game's interesting characters,
I'm like, what is it me for?
let's look at the other mechanics that this game has to offer.
Okay, let's
First
see.
up
Are we
is
gonna see
the gacha.
gameplay?
Yes, this game has gambling in it, but Limbus goes one step beyond and makes their casino relevant to the plot. I said that
I actually heard a lot of good positive feedback when it comes to the gacha in the Limbus company. Again, I still have no freaking idea what this, game is about. I just heard some comparison that like they should basically take notes from the Limbus.
there was only 12 playable characters in this game, and I did mean that. So what exactly are you gambling for if the game already gives you everyone to start out with? The answer is outfits. These are identities, and they are alternate versions of the centers from other universes. These identities are based off of various associations of the game's lore and even characters from the story. So
it's basically kind of like a weapon, right? I think I tried like Brown Dust 2 for like 5-10 minutes, and they also having some kind of like a costume. I would guess there's gonna be like similar to
we
it.
can answer questions like, what would this sexy beast look like if he was French?
maybe
Some of
just
my
better.
personal favorite identities include Bad Bitch Gregor, the Sinclair that kills himself,
책임을 다하지 못했으니 그에 맞는 벌을.
and Magic Bullet Otis.
We are Charlie
And here's my other favorite IDs for those that are curious. The rates for these banners are pretty generous compared to most modern gachas, but there is a catch. There is no soft pity, there is no hard pity, and there is no true guarantee system.
500.
There was actually good
And when you
like
first hear
voice
this, you
line,
might
the
be
dubbing.
thinking, this sounds greedy and predatory as hell. And it does. But remember how earlier I said that this company hates money. I mean that.
Say thanks.
Because if you want a 3-star unit, then you can just shard them. Or wait for the developer team to make a simple mistake, then they'll just give you one. Seriously, this is the most generous gacha game ever. They give out like a free 3-star ID every 4 months, it feels like. All because they accidentally put 2 R's in Merceau's name. Shards are another form of currency in this game that can be used in the back of the bus to get whatever character you want. For example, this Rhodian unit right here, I could just straight up go to the bus right now and get her. But I don't like charge units, so I'm not going to do that. Shards can be obtained by doing pulls and opening boxes that you get from the battle pass. And they're pretty easy to get, honestly. The only bit of FOMO this game has is getting units from the previous season, because you have to wait another season for them to be available. This is my current struggle with Orifice Gregor.
But I want it now!
This scene right here is literally a representation of entire gacha space. The people who need to pull right fucking now.
The other bit of FOMO is Walpurgis Knocked, which is a special event that comes around once every who knows at this point to give players a chance of limited egos and units. Unless it's a character within these restrictions, getting the unit you want really isn't that difficult. Every 3-star ID costs 400 shards, from the dog to even the cracked ones. It is
the overall UI, the art, and like everything. It's like very moody, dark, but like also really unique in a way. Like on the Discord, which maybe you can join by the way, I was praising Reverse 1999 because like the art is literally like amazing. Matter of fact, I started playing the game again, but I'm starting from the very scratch because I forgot the email. Rest in peace all my progress. Like sometimes when you're playing the game and it's genuinely fun, what amplifying the experience is the UI and the art style and this entire like atmosphere of the art, which I could immediately feel it from this game. A little bit like depression, anxiety type of vibes about like Loki. I kind of love it.
All the same cost. And after playing for a while, it'll get to the point where gambling really isn't even worth it because you can just wait like 7 days, get the unit from shards, and save your pulls for a character that you really want in the future. But that still won't save my child's college fund. My personal experience with the gacha has been pretty good, all things considered. Like I said, the rates are pretty generous. My first ever 3-star was an announcer of a character that doesn't even show up until like 50 hours of playtime. And when I got this, I thought, wow, so it's gonna be one of those gacha games, huh? But after that, and even now, I get 3-star characters pretty consistently, and even if I don't get the character I want in like 30 to 50 pulls, I can just shard them later. I already have all of the characters that were available for the season's run, and the one I don't have is one that I don't want. I really don't care for charge. I'm fully aware that luck does play a part into this, and that is a common trend I have where I'm the lucky son of a bitch in every game that I don't want. I really don't care for charge. I'm fully aware that luck does
Loki, I do want to have this t-shirt.
Play a part into this, and that is a common
maybe a little bit slight different iteration like related to the gacha. Maybe we could do some like merch like that. I would genuinely wear it, like
trend
it's
I have
fun.
where I'm the lucky son of a bitch in every game that isn't my fucking job. In general,
this line right here. If he's a lucky, I'm probably the unluckiest guy ever. The amount of 50-50 and hard pity that I hit no matter the gacha, it's fucking insane.
As someone who
it's
has spent
ridiculous.
probably like $105 on a game that I've been playing since April, I think I've gotten a pretty good amount of 3-star units from both pools and shards. You can spend money on banners, but there is no point in wailing. Once you get a character, you've got them at the highest potential. There's no constellations or anything like that. All you gotta do is level them up. So if you get 3 of these Merceaus in a banner, then all you got was 1 of those Merceaus and 100 Merceau shards. Wailing is really not necessary in this game, I promise.
This is actually like really interesting because like seeing a lot of Korean games, it's literally like level of wailing in the Korean games are actually like fucking insane. I don't even remember a few of these games because it's only available in the Korea, so like I only played when I was there. But the wailing that I've experienced in Korea has been literally insane. Like seeing the people and a couple of friends like spending thousands of dollars just like for a recent update. Insane.
All in all, the gacha is still gacha at the end of the day, but this is by far the most lenient one I've played. And I think the reason for that is because they put most of the randomness into the Alright, now we get to the most interesting part about Limbus Company, the gameplay. Let me just show you one turn of
Okay, I'm a little bit concerned, like seeing the casino meme. Is this gonna be like auto battle?
combat.
What the fuck is happening?
Yes, it seems like a lot, but let me break it down for you.
Okay.
At its core, Limbus Company's gameplay is about making sure your number is bigger than their number, but it's so much more than that. Way
I think that's all I need to know.
more than that. I've never seen a system where all you have to do is roll a bigger number than your opponent be so complicated, but I will go over the basics of the game, and I mean basics. Each character has 3 combat skills and a defense skill. These numbers down here show you how many of the skills you have, and the order that these skills appear in is random. Yes, they
Okay, like I can already tell, I can already understand why this game is so good in a way and why this game is not as popular like globally, because like seeing that fucking paragraph of one spell or like one skill, yeah, people are not gonna read that shit.
come down like slots. When in battle, you will select your skills and clash with an opponent. As a clash
looks
begins,
really
you will see these numbers flipping around. The number in the icon is the base power of the skill, and the number above that is how much will be added on whether or not you get heads on a coin toss. Yes, a fucking coin toss. Whoever gets the lower number loses 1 coin.
So you even gambling on the fight? Okay, now I'm interested.
And this process keeps going until someone becomes a broke bitch and the winner can flex on them.
Just pick a number 1 through 10. 10. 10? Okay. So I'm gonna flex on you 10 times. 1, 2.
If you win the clash, you gain sanity, which is this circle over here. Your sanity is what gets added or subtracted to 50 and affects your odds of the coin toss. Everyone
I wonder if there is the people who using the Python or some like Excel sheet to like calculate a certain like scenarios, because I know for a fact like Arknights having a lot of these people. I was actually surprised, but I love it at the same time. I wonder if that's gonna be the case
has a
too.
base sanity value of 0, but as you win a clash and defeat enemies, this number can increase up to 45, but if your allies die or you lose clashes, it can also decrease to values of negative 45. So either way, your chance of hitting heads or tails is never fully 100%, And trust me, you will definitely notice that. Okay, when you pick your attacks, you might spot some text that appears next to them. Hopeless, struggling, neutral, favored, and dominating. These tell you about your chances of winning said clash, but don't always believe them. I will never forget this one fight I had in Kanto 8, where my 45 SP Faust got tails on a coin flip, while the boss with negative 20 SP got heads on all
like
5 coin flips, and nuked my whole team with one attack. In the event that your clashes are not favored or dominating, you can choose to use an ego if you have the proper amount of sin resources. Each attack has an affinity associated with them based on the 7 sins: wrath, lust, sloth, pride, envy, gluttony, and gloom. Yes, greed isn't here. I guess gluttony's fat ass ate it, then got sad, so now we have depression.
I'm such a fat fucking chud.
But most newer players will just refer to them as their colors, since that's easy to remember. But don't worry, because as you play longer, these sins will become intertwined with said colors, and you'll become the coolest kid in kindergarten. All right, class, what color is this? Blue! Fools. I scoffed to myself. That's pride. If you've got the resources, you can activate an ego, which is the closest thing to an ultimate that you can use in this game. This is how you get the big numbers for clashing, and you might be asking, why didn't I just use an ego during that Kanto 8 fight? And joke's on you, because I did, but still lost. Yeah, you know what you did wrong. Keep staring at that wall. Most, or some of the time, your egos will win, and their effects vary greatly. Seriously, these things are all over the place in terms of what they can do. Each of the sinners have their own base egos that range from Don Quixote giving back shots to blowing someone's head off, and whatever Gregor's going through.
There comes a giant fish!
But these skills do have a cost.
Though.
Egos take away sanity, so technically you can spam them if you have the resources, but they will gradually make you go insane to the point of corrosion. When normal characters go to negative 45 sanity, if said character does not have a special ego, aka a gacha one, they will just not be able to move for one turn.
No, I have to say it like right away, this is probably like one of the best video I ever react to. And it's related to the game that I didn't even try in the first place. But also speaking about trying this game, maybe guys let me know and leave a like under this video to see if we should try this game on a stream.
However, if they do have a special ego, then they corrode, turning into a fucking monster that attacks randomly on field. These animations look really cool, but it's also pretty annoying when your Yisang has a nasty lineup on B site, only for him to then nuke your entire team. That is the very basic principle of Limbus Company gameplay. Get the higher number, win clash, and have high sanity. But what happens when you actually hit your opponents? Once you deal damage to enemies, your equipped characters might induce some status effects onto your foes.
That's a lot of numbers, a lot of text.
There's approximately a metric ton of them, so allow me to just go over the main 7. Burn. This is linked with Wrath and makes it so that enemies take a certain amount of damage at the end of every turn. These are what the cool kids use. Bleed. This damage activates every time a coin rolls. A pretty fun status condition to use on your team, but an absolute bitch and a half to go against. These are what alphas use, and the same people that crush ants when they're walking. Tremor. This makes it so that enemies get staggered easier. These are what people—
Am I crazy? But like more I'm watching this gameplay, the more I actually like it. Literally at the very first time, I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, there is no shot I'm gonna be enjoying this type of gameplay, but like more I'm seeing it, more I want to try it.
People who are currently bored with the game use.
Genuinely.
Rupture. Whenever enemies get hit, they take true damage based off of the rupture potency. This is tied to gluttony, which makes sense considering the best team takes 11 units to run. What a greedy fucking fat ass. People who run this status are nerds and are the summer ants that get crushed by bleed enjoyers.
I'm just gonna stomp you. You're gonna keep coming back. I'm gonna seal up all my cracks. You're gonna keep coming back. Why? Because you keep smelling the syrup.
Sinking. This status makes it so that enemies lose sanity as they take damage. The people that play Sinking are the same players who will say this game has baby mode difficulty simply because they reduce the enemy's chance of attacking to 5%. Poise. This makes it to where your characters can crit. Typically beings with large amounts of testosterone run this. And lastly, we have Charge, which improves certain skill effects. People who run this team are players that are trying to convince themselves that it's fun.
This is great.
Okay, so blue.
Granted, it takes some time to chew.
Team building is what makes the gameplay so addictive in my opinion. Assembling a team of quirky IDs and finding out which ones work best together based off of their descriptions or team building sites is one of the most satisfying things you can do in this game. Especially when you enter the in-game mode and see your numbers stack up to 99 and watch as enemies just explode. And honestly, just in general, the game is at its most fun when you think. Coming up with a team, finding strategies,
I don't know, like more I'm seeing it, it actually looks really fun.
And it works really well in that aspect. When you start from nothing every fight and watch as your team slowly builds up as the battle progresses, you're getting bigger damage numbers, more heads on coin tosses, more status effects proccing. You can literally feel the tide shifting in the battle, and it's so satisfying. And I haven't even talked about the sound design to go along with the combat. Oh my god. The sounds in this game are so crisp and satisfying to listen to, especially
Did you try Arcane? That's actually really satisfying as well.
the coin flips.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the coin flip, I would almost make a bet that this was intentional based on some, like, a gambling type of environment or, like, psychology. Because, like, hearing that, like, coin flip or, like, the coin drop, I guess it's a little bit, you know, satisfying to human ears, at least, like, especially nowadays, right?
I have to change my underwear every time I play this game just because of the mess I end up making listening to pure bliss. And it's also a great rage baiting method. Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, I get it.
Ding 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 ding.
Could you shut the fuck up? Jesus Christ.
But it doesn't just stop with the coin flips. The attack sounds have so much weight to them. There's so much just... You feel a blunt attack hit, you can tell that they use their fucking fist for that one.
Well, I can tell this dude is like so passionate about this project. Which, hey, like, don't get me wrong, I'm already glazing the Arcanite a lot and probably gonna make a lot more videos to it. But also, like, at the same time, this shit looks really fun as well.
The voice acting in this game, stellar, amazing.
아니, 한 방울이라도 괜찮으니까
아니야.
어머니께서 여기서 자르신다 해도
나를 짓밟아 기어코 캐시와 떼어놓은 그 모든 것들을 자루 안에 담아서 어디든 지옥까지 끌고 다니며
싱클레어.
Do it again.
싱클레어.
And the music, it goes so hard.
You know what? This is actually really interesting. There's like 3-5 seconds of this music and it, like, I can immediately see that it perfectly matches the, like, atmosphere, or maybe even like this background or the playground with the tiles. Yeah. Kinda interesting. I mean, I know this guy is literally like glazing for like 22 minutes non-stop, but I can like already feel and see like how much dedication and like details or like detail-oriented this game is. I would have to guess the developers definitely put a lot of work and like passion to the game.
And that's just the background music.
Okay, slow down, buddy.
About the music that the band Millie has made for this whole franchise, going back to Library of Ruin. It's been banger after banger after banger, bar after bar. They do not miss.
Actually, speaking about this, sorry to interrupt the music. I'm gonna like put it 5 seconds back so we can listen it again. I don't play Brown Dust 2, but when I tried that like very first song like on the loading screen is literally like peak. For a while, I literally just opened the game just to listen to that music. It's really good.
Do not miss.
God damn, I feel like I'm watching this video too long. I'm already getting hooked. Well, it's beautiful, what can I say? Criticism,
Is Limbus a good game? Yes. Is Limbus a great game? Yes. Is Limbus perfect? No. This game does a lot well, but there are some criticisms that I would like to point out.
Okay.
Wacky Dog is about to get serious for a second. The first criticism I want to address is the gameplay. You want to know one of the reasons why people don't really talk about Limbus? Well, aside from the absent marketing, this is probably one of the biggest reasons.
Yeah.
Yes, I do like certain parts of the combat, and like I said, when the game encourages you to think, it is pretty fun and engaging. Having to pay attention to the bosses.
It's fun to think for a very minority people. But I'm gonna be real, a lot of people nowadays don't want to read, they just want to skip and just like max out, min-max literally everything and just like doing big ass damage. Maybe just like click on auto line formation for the team. Well, don't get me wrong, I'm kind of one of these guys. But also at the same time, I like to using my 2 brain cells when I'm struggling with the stages in the Arcanite. So what I'm trying to say is, unless you make it like really stupidly simple and kind of funny, it's always gonna be for minority of the people, like for very small and specific group. Or maybe just using some auto button, which maybe this game has has it as well.
Abilities and reading their descriptions rather than just making sure your number is bigger. But at the end of the day, that is mainly what matters. One of the biggest memes in the Limbus community is this little button over here called win rate. Win rate is basically auto battle. It selects your best skills that have the highest chances of winning a clash. Win rate is what most of your combat experience is going to look like, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because I enjoy having to think and strategize in this game, but there's not many opportunities that warrant that unless you're fighting a major boss. Seriously, most people say that win rate can only get you to the end of Kanto 4, but that wasn't the case for me. I was able to just use win rate until like Kanto 5. Those who've played the game probably understand what happened to me.
Out of all the games, it's just one game I need you to coach.
I never did that before. But, I mean, I could try.
One time, come up with say it with me, a play. A play.
Yeah, I got you.
But even after that ass kicking, win rate is still a pretty viable option for most of the fights you'll have in this game. Thinking is fun. Reading is fun. But when you have a button that clears like 75% of the content, why would I even waste my time trying to think?
Yeah, that's kind of a fair point.
Is
But also, to be fair, my very opinion on this such a thing is if there is something like very repetitive, I would rather to having like auto button and just like dealing or like using my 2 brain cells for a very important battle, not just like every minor battle that like on the way.
I have with the combat, but ultimately it is my choice as the player to press said button, and I recognize
that shit looks
it
too
keeps
complex.
the game casual, and it's nice to use on those days to where I just really can't be bothered to think. But I do wish this button wasn't so strong that I could clear basically every fight that isn't Millennia. But like I said, they aren't forcing you to press win rate. There's just not a lot of instances where you shouldn't be. However, my biggest problem with the combat is that everything revolves around clashing. In order for anything to be done in Limbus, attacks have to clash. And clashing in itself is a very RNG-based gimmick. There will always be a chance of an attack rolling tails, causing you to lose, no matter if you have 45 sanity. And yes, the randomness can be exciting at points, but it can also be extremely frustrating.
My fucking hell mortgage on my hell house! Fuck!
Especially towards late game Limbus in the story, to where it can feel like if you just lose one coin toss, then your entire run is dead. Whether it be towards the end of a fight and then you just lose because they have a nuke, or at the very beginning of a fight to where you start a clash, lose neutral, and now all of your attacks are struggling, so you might as well just restart at that point. I feel like I have a higher chance of getting a 3-star in a 10 pull than I do of winning a neutral clash at numerous points in this fucking game. You should have rolled better. How about I roll my nuts on your face?
Get that ass, Ben.
Unbreakable coins. Unbreakable coins are the bane of my existence. For the uninformed, Kim Ji-hoon created unbreakable coins after being inspired by Germany's actions during World War II. This is why the coin color was chosen to be red. I rest my case. For those who don't play the game, I mentioned how if you win a clash, the enemy loses 1 coin. Unbreakable coins do not go away, meaning that if they lose the clash, the attack still goes off, but with heavily reduced damage. Now, I can live with getting hit for 4 damage. That's fine, but it's the 15 stacks of bleed that piss me off. End game and Mirror Dungeon. Mirror Dungeon is the end game mode
Looks
for
like
Limbus.
a lot
This
of
can
fun.
be accessed pretty early on, and I would argue that it's at its best for new players, since it automatically levels up your units to max, giving you plenty of opportunities to try new characters and see if you want to actually invest in them for your normal teams. However, as you play more of Mirror Dungeon, it becomes exactly like the Squidward clip. Mirror Dungeon can be fun when you're trying new teams and seeing how far you can get your status effects to go. However, it can easily turn into a mindless win rate button simulator for an hour. Most of your Mirror Dungeon experience will likely turn into press win rate up until the last node.
I'm actually rather curious, like how many people playing this game for the story and how many people playing it for the win rate button.
Because there's a chance that there's a boss on the floor that might actually require some strategy, but there's also a chance that it doesn't. Mirror Dungeon can become difficult at times, which I do appreciate. But if I'm just trying to do my weeklies, I would like to have more engaging gameplay than me just pressing win rate and watching YouTube on my second monitor for an hour. Because once you catch up to the story, this is it. Limbus Company is just Mirror Dungeon. That's all there is to do. So I just wish there was a more consistent and interesting in-game mode available. The last criticism I have is the XP farming, primarily in the beginning. I'd say that the early game Limbus experience isn't too bad, aside from leveling up characters. These tickets are not worth jack shit. Look at this. I have a level 1 Otis, and if I give her these tickets, it takes her to level 17. And if I do the exact same thing to my level 13 Faust, it takes her to 18. Huh? Until you reach Kanto 4, Node 48. Leveling characters you have is miserable. Once you get past that, it's fine. I don't have any problems. But before that, they might as well just give me a used piece of toilet paper, and it would be just as helpful.
Okay.
To wrap up this video, I would just like to reiterate that once again, I fucking love this game. Limbus Company is a great game that has a phenomenal story, interesting characters, and fun gameplay at times. The magic bullet is about to
I mean, like, overall, the gameplay looks low-key good. Like, let's be real, half of the screen I literally see a bunch of text. Maybe it's the color. I think that's maybe another, like, psychological tactic to make it a little bit more interesting, because, like, I see a bunch of different colors, just like in the casino. Yeah, like, overall, I can imagine
fire dominating Clash. I swear to fucking God, if he gets heads on a -40, you will never hear the...
Honestly, like, this is low-key fun. Like, obviously not if I gonna play it, but, like, seeing it sounds kind of fun. Let's see what happens.
I am going! There's so many things that I haven't even talked about that just make me appreciate this game even more. Like how there isn't an RNG-based gear/loadout system. All you have to do is level up characters and level up their skills. That's it. Thank God.
Beautiful.
Even the small details I love, like how
I'm actually getting
get pushed
tired of,
further
like,
back in combat
farming
depending
for
on how
everything.
strong the attack is. Your characters will swap sides during animations, and how the British people in the game spell color wrong. Ego voice lines changing after completing contos. Heathcliff British people in the game spell.
You know what's actually really interesting? I wonder if this is like normal thing, because I'm not gonna be naming like any kind of place in Korea. But basically, Korea is my kind of like a second home, and I've been into a lot of places, and there's been on even just a normal like a poster so many English like mistakes, like grammar mistakes, but like in Korea nobody give a shit. So I kind of wonder if this is the same vibes
color
here.
Wrong. Ego voice lines changing after completing contos. Heathcliff's bat even changing after completing his conto. But the best part is when you're done with one of the contos and the main center of the chapter gets to sing the outro song. It's so good. It's so good. Money. Too bad the best one's the first one you hear. And yes, even though I have certain problems with the gameplay, I still play this game daily and enjoy my time here. This game can be extremely casual at many points, but it can also provide me with a nice challenge every now and then. But what keeps me going gameplay-wise is that I feel like Limbus respects my time, which is one of the reasons why I support this game so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And as for the community, wow.
Okay.
I was the leader of a very influential group. You mean the cult? You could call it a cult, but I'd say it was more of a movement.
The PM community is definitely passionate, to say the least. I mentioned how there's basically no advertisement for this game, and that statement is mostly true until you meet a Project Moon fan, because they won't shut the fuck up about it.
Beach volleyball.
This fandom is the second generation of JoJo fans, and I mean that in many different ways. From the brain
What about
rot
the
to
Genshin
everyone
fans?
claiming that
I
insert
wonder.
thing is a Project Moon reference, and their media literacy skills. God forbid you're a literature teacher and have a Limbus fan in your classroom. But jokes aside, it is nice to see how dedicated these fans are to not only Limbus, but the series in general. It is a charming energy that I've spectated from the outside. Yes, I see you, sleeper agents. This game's popularity is primarily contributed to word of mouth, but what's so interesting about this game's community, to me at least, is that everyone has a story for how they got into it.
Son, you know, once you start, there's no going back.
I don't think I've ever met someone who just stumbled upon Limbus on the Steam or App Store. It's either they were a Project Moon fan, they saw a video or meme about the game, a friend told them about it, Roblox, or another method. I only found out about this game because of art I saw on Twitter. I saw the words Don Quixote underneath a drawing and said, huh, I recognize that name from a question on an AP US test I took. She looks cute. Then I was bored one day and downloaded the game. Limbus Company means a lot to me, and I've wanted to make a video on this game since June of this year. I even ended up making a whole separate gameplay montage for this game just because of how excited I was to edit this video. There is a lot to talk about with Limbus Company, and I would love to discuss the story, shocking review.
Are you telling me there is more? Like, after 31 minutes, there is still way more?
And incredible boss fights, but I can't.
I feel like this dude like
explained
it
who might want to give
perfectly.
this game a try. Because if I spoil this for you, I would feel terrible for robbing you of such a great experience. And this game has given me plenty of those. So I hope that it can do the same for you. This is Limbus Company, one of the best gacha games on the market right now, and one that you should definitely consider playing. Until you lose another dominating clash, fuck this game. Here's the other montage I made.
Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. I guess there's gonna be some DMCA copyright strike. Yeah. Wow, that's a little bit shame. Like with some banger music, it would look really cool. Am I just seeing the animation? Like of the fight, it's really satisfying. He played the worst gacha game ever, so you don't have to. Like, what is this? These guys know how to make a thumbnail. Well, I'll be real, I did not have an expectation coming to this video, and to be fair, I was low-key interested into at least know what the fuck is going on with Limbus company, but like after seeing this video, I'm low-key genuinely interested to try this game. I have no idea if people would be really interested to see me playing the first playthrough on a stream. Maybe just let me know if you would like to see it, and we can definitely schedule some stream, especially that freaking coin flip. I'm kinda curious about that. Overall, I have to say this is one of the best video that I've ever reacted to, so huge kudos to the guy. This video definitely deserves a really big, juicy, fat thumbs up. And I hope you enjoyed the time with me. Until next time, take care.